Hello, can you see me? It'd help if I went to chat. Okay, I think I'm in. Okay, can you hear me? Let me see if I can get the picture a little straighter. There. Is that better? Do I need to adjust the volume any? Good. I think we're good to go. This is my very first time to stream ever, so y'all gotta be nice. I just had that sign there to say I am Jani, aka Paper Compulsions. And let me get this where we can see it. I have a magnet board that's a memo board. These are magnets. And on the other side is a calendar, and I have an acetate sheet over it, so this is a dry erase board. And then I wrap the pen and ribbon, and you can just have your dry erase board. And as I've been working on it, I've been thinking it's a really good memo board. You can put notes on it, a wish list for crafts, but mine's too big to fit on there. And you could put like a shopping list. I decided this was my shopping list that I needed from the store. So the main part is super easy. And like I said, these are the chipboard elements from the collection. Let me grab that. The chipboard elements. And they're sticky on the back, but what I do is just tear that layer off so that it doesn't have the adhesive on the back. And then I just hot glue a magnet to it, or you could use any other type of glue that you like. Scrap-a-dap-a-doo has some great magnets that are really strong, and you can either get the kind like this that come in a set of 10, I believe, or there's a set like this that comes in a set of 12, and they're smaller and a tiny bit thicker, but they both work really well. And then these were just some cards from the cut apart sheet in the collection, and I have that. Trying to juggle all this at once. I have the cut apart sheet that I just cut them apart and inked the edges, and I used my paper, my corner rounder, to round the edges off. This is wood veneer. This particular one is from a Bow Bunny set that I had, but these are from the Prima Time Traveler set, and I just put one of those little bitty magnets on the back, and to hide it I put a jewel and a little bow. But it's really easy. Let me show you how the board itself goes together. Yeah, it's the tin board that I have, the metal sheet that makes it a magnet board, is 12 by 12, so I had to make everything else considering that. So it's big, but it's nice and big to hold your stuff, and if you're getting older like me, then you can write on the calendar and actually see it because it's big enough to see. Not that any of y'all are getting old. And you can change out your papers. Originally I had this on there. You could put any of your papers. And the beauty of this line is everything that you put together will look good because Prima does such a good job when they put it together. But there's a 10 sheet. It's a sheet of 10. I don't type with a southern accent. Well, you know what? I never have a southern accent unless I talk to people who aren't from the South. I'm not quite sure how that happens. So I have the 10 sheet, and it's not very rough. It's not very sharp on the edges. You have to be careful, but I've worked with 10 before that I've had to cut down, and it's really sharp and you can cut yourself. And this is, was still careful with it, but you can handle it and it's not going to cut you. And it comes to you just like this. And so since the sheet is 12 by 12, I made everything else 12 by 12. This calendar sheet is one from the Graphic 45, A Place in Time, and you could use a year calendar side or the 1 month calendar side. And Carol and Barry have this where you can order it singly, just that sheet, and not have to have the whole collection in case you don't have this sheet left over from the Graphic 45. And I just put the calendar on there. There's an acetate sheet that is really thick and nice. And let me show you, all the magnets are clicking on it just from setting it down. Well, I have misplaced the tin sheet. Comes, they package it in chipboard, so you can either use this chipboard or use the black. I've used the black so it was easier. I didn't have to do quite as much work. Here it is. It comes, the acetate sheet comes in a protective layer. It has the protective blue film on the front and back, and you just peel that off and put it in place. And then you can just put a few magnets on the top to hold it together while you're putting everything else on. And they really are strong magnets. Yes, I am recording. It says I am. I'm going to trust it. And a few magnets will hold it together. And on the other side, all these jumped onto the board while I was explaining that. And the trick is, if you slide it and kind of pry it up, it comes up better. But you can put any paper you want to back there. And that's up. This is up. Now, I took this sheet and with a craft knife, I cut the straight lines with my regular trimmer, and then with the craft knife I went in around the edges like that to make a frame, because originally I thought it was just going to stand in a little lean over, just have a little stand that would be like that, but I changed that along the way. But I still like the idea of this frame part. So I took that sheet and cut the inside out, and then I traced it on to my black chipboard and traced that out. And then originally, like I said, I was going to have this have magnets on it. You can see I was showing you where I put the magnets, and it would hold it in place. but you really don't need the magnets there since I changed the frame. Scrap-a-dap-a-doo has the 12 by 12 tin sheet. It's Paper Accents brand, and they also have the acetate sheets. And there's a supply list somewhere, but I know there's one on my blog, and I'll have some more links later. But like I said, you don't have to put magnets in this part after you get it all together. And then I made the frame, and let me show you how that goes together real quick. We only allowed 30 minutes for me because I have nerve damage and I can't sit up straight for more than a short time and short periods of time. So I'm going to try to fit this in. We'll see. Whatever I don't explain, I will have step-by-step instructions for that will actually go up after my broadcast, because I realized I made a mistake and I need to go change that before I put them up on my blog. It's just a basic kind of frame like this, and what I did was take chipboard, and I tell you on the instructions that how many pieces of chipboard you'll need and what sizes. And I have just made a mess of all this because it fell. Give me just a second to grab this. All my little pieces fell. Okay, we're going to pretend like I have them anyway. For the top part, you will need 3 12 by ½ inch strips of chipboard like this. I think this is the other one. And then I cut a piece of cardstock, the decorative paper. And let me see, this was 2½, I believe. Yes, it's 2½ by 12. And then you could use wet glue or miracle tape or whatever, score tape. And I center the first one, and then that's not the right one. Let me find the ones that are 12 by 12. There we go. That one's too wide, but I'll pretend it's all ½ inch. I center the first one. Then I put, these are going to go at a 90-degree angle on top of this chipboard. So you would space it. You can use another piece of chipboard to space that and adhere those down. And then you would wrap this edge around, bring this up, wrap this edge around, bring this up, and you come out with something that looks like that. And then I took a sticker from one of the sticker sheets to put on the border for this one. And for the trim, Scrap-a-dap-a-doo has this ivory and cream really thin trim. Let me see there. And I just took Tim Holtz aged mahogany and stained it, and I put a piece of black cardstock underneath it, and then put the ribbon over it and just glued it in place. But that's optional, you don't have to do that. And then that's the top piece that comes off. For the other pieces, let's see, it's kind of big to fit on the frame. I'm me show you this side. For these side pieces, you'll need a total of 6 11.5 by 1/2 inch strips, and 3 will make this side, and 3 will make this side, and they go together just like the other one. But when I cut the strip for these side pieces, I measured, this is a 12-inch long by 2.5, and I measured 1/2 an inch up, sorry, and then let's see if I can, measured 1/2 an inch up, and let's just pretend this is accurate. And I'm going to cut into the middle. That's 1/2 an inch right there, into that side. And it's hanging on right in the middle, but it flips over. And then when you get your little piece covered, it will sit on this base part, and you can glue that down, and it's just a little extra support. And these parts come later. So, but I have instructions on those, and then this part is 11 inches long by 1/2 inch tall. And then for the base piece, let me explain that because the instructions might be a little confusing. Am I making sense so far? Yeah, it is very sturdy, and that's why I ended up going with this design. And I mean, this is it was sturdy enough with just these frame pieces, but when I add the sides, it gives it even more strength, so that can't wobble, and you can move it around. I've been moving it around for a week, and it's really good. Zach, can you get me something to drink? For the base piece, because that 10 piece is 12 by 12, I wanted the base a little bit larger, so we have to piece some chipboard together and layer it together to get a good sturdy base. And I have some pieces here. This will drive me crazy. Let me get some of this picked up. That was just what I cut out of that other piece. I'll have a printout that shows this, but the regular base is going to be 13.5 by 4.5 wide. That part. But the chipboard's 12 by 12, so we could do 12 inches, then I add some on. Let me show how that works. The first layer, let's see if you can see this. The first layer will be 12 by 4.5, and then you'll add a little part on that's 1.5 by 4.5. And then the next pieces that come together have a groove in the middle to go around this bottom rail, this bottom part. And let me show you those. You have this piece that's 6 by 4.5, this piece that's 6 by 4.5, and then we put some little pieces of chipboard to fill the gap, so that the seam on this, it was on this side for one of them. It's in the middle for the next layer, so that gives it more strength because all the seams aren't in alignment. And then on top of that, I put a layer right here beside where the frame is. I put just a strip on this side, a strip on that side, and two little pieces on the ends to make it the length I needed it. And I'll have all these instructions on the printouts, but I noticed just before I went on that the printouts are not printing out exactly right. I cut too much off the edge, and I want to go change that before I put them on the web. So let me show you the pieces that were small enough. I went ahead and had a template for, like this, and it says to cut two. This is base layer 2A and 2B, and cut 2, and I'll show you that in just a second. We'll start out with base layer 1A, and I called it that just in the order that you'll put them down. You'll put 1A, and you'll look around for 1B. How am I doing on time? I haven't looked yet. This is 1B, and you'll put it right there, and then on top of that you'll layer you'll take these two pieces and layer those on, and you'll fill the gaps with extra chipboard where you have this groove here, and then on top of that you put that strip, and those, and then you cover it with paper. And I'll do a video showing how to cover it, because I can't sit up that long to do the whole thing. But let me explain this one other printout. For the side pieces, I give you a pattern, but because it's so long you have to piece it together. So you'll cut it out, and there's a little tab here that says tab, and you'll just put glue on that and line that up with the bottom there, and then you have your pattern to cut out your chipboard. And I just cut chipboard and pattern paper on that side and pattern paper on that side, and left this edge exposed. Let me see. I don't know if you can see it. I left that exposed, and there's black chipboard in there, but what I did was, for the chipboard I cut inside these lines, and for the pattern paper I cut just outside the lines of the pattern, and that way you don't notice as much as the chipboard. And I put those together with perfect paper adhesive, and then bind them with clips to hold it down while it dries. And that's just about it. I think we need to do the I'm not sure. Okay, it's 6:04, so I'm over that. Let me show you one more quick thing. I promise it'll be quick. When you go to glue your magnets, I lay the magnet down on my non-stick craft sheet and then put glue on top of the magnet. Let me see. I'm hurrying. Then I put hot glue, or whatever kind of glue you want, on top of that, and then put your chipboard piece or whatever, your wood veneer. And that way, when it dries, you can pull it, and the glue will come right off of that, and then you know that the glue is flush with your magnet, instead of getting up over the edges and not holding because the glue's on top of the magnet. That way you know that it's flush with the magnet. But I'll have all the instructions, and the flowers I just took the stems off, and some of them I curled the stems up and put magnets on, and the little frames are great for highlighting a day on the calendar, so it's good. It's really fun. You'll like this. And I will have all the instructions on my blog as soon as I make a few corrections on the sheets. But thank you, and I think they have a giveaway. Do we have a giveaway for the kit to make, the supplies to make this project, which includes the chipboard and the acetate sheet and the tin sheet and the paper, I believe. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. I hope I didn't go too fast. They're typing. They're typing. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And I will have all the instructions out, and I make lots of pictures because I'm used to doing that for when I used to teach. So I'm all about doing pictures of how it goes together like that, and then I'll like put arrows on how to layer it. Okay, thank you very much, and I will talk with y'all later in the chat when we go to Ashley's show. Do we have a winner, or do I need to wait for that? Thank you. Thank you. Do I need to wait for a winner, or are we good? We'll wait? Okay. So while we're waiting, I had another idea. These little jewels for this in this kit are so cool. I don't know if they show up on camera as well, but they are so sparkly. I want to get some and put them on a ring to wear it because they're just so cool. And then I had to do a few on the chipboard pieces. I did use the Tim Holtz bronzed antique bronze on the edges just to give it a little oomph. You could also use Gilder's paste. And we're pausing chat for a minute. Okay. Yeah, those little jewels are so pretty. The camera doesn't do them justice. They glisten so great. I think we need bunches of them for everything. And if you lose your magnets, they'll all get together on their own and have a little party. You know how Kathy Order was talking about she didn't want to commit to a flower? This way you put magnets on the back and you can move the flower wherever you want. And the bow too. I tucked a little magnet in the seam, in the tie part of the bow, so I could move it wherever I wanted to. Kathleen. Is Kathleen the winner? Yay, Kathleen! Congratulations. And I will have the things that you can download, and I will do some videos later showing how to actually do it. Yay, Kathleen. Thank y'all so much, and I'm going to go ahead and sign out so that Ashley can get on. Let me see. Are we good for me to sign off and let Ashley in? Thank y'all so much. Okay, well, I'm going to go now, and Ashley will be coming up next with a really cool box that's gorgeous.